What's going on, good people of the internet? It is time for OnComicsRounds.com's flagship podcast, Panel to Panel, where a bunch of folks shoot the breeze and talk about comic books and such. We are back once again with episode 61 of this amazing podcast that we have been doing for multiple years now, with multiple reboots and multiple different things that we have done. But we are back once again to talk about comic news and comic topics that interest us in the world of nerddom and geekiness. Don't forget, folks, that you can check out this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, YouTube, Pandora, Amazon Prime, Amazon Radio, and Audible. Basically, wherever you can listen to a podcast, besides SoundCloud, because we don't support SoundCloud in this house. And soon, depending on how this news story goes and how we're feeling about it, we might even look into Substack, because this situation is developing fast and it might be very intriguing for us. But in general, you can follow us on any platform, and we will be introducing some awesome paid content like bonus episodes and early episodes for folks soon. So get ready for that. You can follow us on Twitter at PTP_podcast. You can also follow us on the website on Comics Ground, on Twitter at OnComicsGround. And you can check out the website on -comics-ground.com for all of the newest reviews, previews, listations for all the newest comic books that are releasing. And my name is James Portis. To my left, we have the woman who is amazingly able to podcast and eat pierogies at the same time. We have Mary. How you doing today?
I'm chewing.
All right.
Oh, sorry, I was chewing. Come on, it's dinner time and I'm hungry.
Fair enough.
Is it professional? Absolutely not. Am I going to keep doing it? Absolutely. Do you want to know why? Because we're the drunk white girl of comic book podcasts.
Apparently, yes. To my right, we have the man whose afro grows more luscious by the day, who is the ultimate girl dad by day and worker by night. We have Travis. How you doing today?
Feeling my smooth skin from our facials yesterday.
Love it. All right, we're going
Although her unicorn mask was cute and terrifying. It looked like
I saw the picture of that. I was like, that can't be good for her face. Like, there has to be some kind of weird chemical in it.
Oh, not at all. Is it one of those like disposable masks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, those are fine. They're just one use.
Oh, okay. It just like the colors in it had me concerned that like chemicals would bleed through, and I was just like, it was just concerned. But anyway,
I used one that made me look like a panda one time.
That's awesome. We're gonna go ahead and dive into some news here before we jump into our main topic. We figured after our amazing roast that we had done, where we tore Brian Michael Bendis and Marvel Civil War 2 to shreds, we figured we slow down a little bit and talk about some comic book ships and different things like that are some of our favorites in the comic book landscape from DC and Marvel. But before that, we're going to talk about a few different news articles that have happened recently in the world of comic books, starting with the fact that well-known legacy hero Kate Bishop is getting her own new Hawkeye miniseries this fall to tie into the release of the Marvel and Disney Plus series that is releasing. And I don't know how I feel about this, because they're taking her from the roots that have been done with previous writers and having her leave Los Angeles, which had became her new home, where her solo book had been and where West Coast Avengers had been, and sending her back to New York for just a little stint with a random villain. And while I'm excited for more Kate content, and the potential of it is very intriguing, and the fact that we're getting new blood like on the book and trying to like get more things going on with new talent, I find myself sitting here. Why the fuck is the book called Hawkeye colon Kate Bishop. Like, this girl has been Hawkeye since 2003. No, 2004, mind you. 2004. And she's had two different ongoing series where she was just Hawkeye. And because of this new era where gatekeepers have stepped into the limelight and told Marvel what for, we have to live in the world where now Kate Bishop, a long-running legacy hero, has to be in the same vein of Miles Morales, where their name has to be coloned next to their superhero name, because apparently legacy heroes are not supposed to be allowed to progress. And I can't decide how I feel about this. Thoughts?
Let Mary go first.
Oh, let Mary go first? Okay.
Oh shit, hang on.
She was chewing, Travis, you butthead.
Pierogies.
While she's
Hey, have you ever had pierogies? They're delicious.
I mean, they are delicious, you are correct.
And these are
Will they
potato
survive the
pierogies
mail?
that are... Haha. But these are potato pierogies and they were buttered perfectly.
Ooh, okay.
Yep, so you understand why that had to take precedent.
Oh, of course.
Precedence, excuse me, not precedent. But like you, there are aspects that I'm excited for and there are aspects that I really don't know if I like.
Yes.
Because we have to upend her character progression so it ties in with the show. And that's annoying.
Yes.
Especially since they took, several different books to establish her in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm annoyed that they're doing the whole Hawkeye colon Kate Bishop because it's annoying. It sounds conditional,
It's the same thing that happened with the Avengers game recently, where we got Kate Bishop first, and then they still titled the expansion pack of her DLC like Avengers colon Kate Bishop something or whatever, rather than Avengers colon Hawkeye, because in like 4 more months they introduced Clint to the game, who basically is just a shadow version of Kate with his own sword and stupid moves and what have you. And that was called Hawkeye Future Imperfect. And it's like, wow. So y'all really just can't let progression happen, can you? You really just gotta make it so the legacy characters have to have their name stapled to the fucking thing because we can't move forward.
James, this is Marvel.
You're not wrong, Travis.
This
Speak
is Marvel.
But it's like
you get a splash.
It's so frustrating. Go ahead.
What you got?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Where it's like, okay, so in Marvel, they have this really fun and also ridiculous and stupid moronic habit of splashing progression in their continuity.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, whether it be neckbeards, comic sales, a combination of the two, they're like, oh, it's gone now. Vault to the vault, or they'll kill them. But I don't know. It's kind of the same thing. Like when we talked about X-23 and everyone reacting to her being Wolverine. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But
it's the same
this
shit.
Is like a Marvel. But it's the same shit. But on this time, it's Marvel imposing the fandom conclusion, and it's trash.
Honestly,
just call her Hawkeye, or give her her own name. Even fuck, how hard is that?
I mean, and something that I think that bothers me about it is that we're seeing this kind of regression because the adapted material has not caught up to the progression that they've made in the comics. So, your average comic book fan who is, at least mostly Marvel literate will know that Kate Bishop is Hawkeye. And she is very insistent that she is Hawkeye. She's not Hawkeye 2. She's not the girl Hawkeye. She's Hawkeye.
She's been Hawkeye since 2004 when Steve gave her Clint's bow because he was dead.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
I mean, and if you read, Fractions Hawkeye Run?
Yep.
Like, that is an amazing book, and Kate Bishop is like, screw you, I'm Hawkeye. But because the MCU is still trying to pretend that Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye is interesting, I don't know. Like, I like comic book Hawkeye,
Indeed.
Clint, but like, I have to over-enunciate that name. I feel like a lot of people do.
Lint.
Because if not, it sounds, But
Yeah.
I like him, but he is more than comfortable sharing the role. And honestly, I think comic book Hawkeye and MCU Hawkeye, they're drastically different figures.
Honestly, it's like they very much tried to make Renner Ultimate Hawkeye, but then didn't fully follow through with it and kill his family like they were supposed to, and it just kind of sat on the floor and didn't go anywhere.
But no, I think because that the MCU hasn't caught up yet, we have to see this annoying regression. And I'm gonna lay a little bit of blame on Sony here as well.
Ooh,
with oh my god,
Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse. That admittedly they were kind of like, hey, Miles is Spider-Man, but we see the comics have to insist that no, he's Miles because I don't know. So it's kind of like the reverse, I suppose.
Yeah, and what bugs me the most is like I remember when All New, All Different first happened. In a lot of people's opinions of things were what has happened, where they were kind of starting to workshop what was going to be happening in the MCU. Like, we've got Mackie now as Captain America, and that's our next fucking story. We have freaking Natalie Portman coming back to play Jane Thor in Thor 4. Like, we were trying to get to this point of progression, but because of the controversies that happened because of neckbeards and Comicsgate and whatnot, we didn't get to go forward. And it's to the point where we're regressing, and it's like, I'm staring at the stupid trailer for the Avengers game where Kate was introduced. It's called Operation Kate Bishop Taking Aim. And then Clint comes in later with his expansion, Hawkeye Future Imperfect. And that's what bugs me the most, is that, like, this regression started a year ago, and now it's just continuing into the comics. And it's just like, why? Why are we doing this? Kate's like 20-something now in the comics, having been in the role for a significant amount of time. And yet, she's been on multiple superhero teams. She's been a superhero with her own solo titles. And it's just like, why are we playing this cat and mouse game where she has to have her name colon to her superhero title? But hopefully the book is good. I definitely will read it because I've always enjoyed Kate since I was always a Young Avengers kid. And like Mary, I did tolerate the Civil War Runaways crossover because Young Avengers was my shit, and that's what got me into Runaways. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I always love it when the Young Avengers and Runaways have to like team up for something because you have, upstanding superhero sidekicks and absolute disaster teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take a second to lament the shadow cancellation.
Yeah, that's the whole let's just kick Runaways to the curb thing is very fucked up on Marvel's part after survived so much.
But typical.
Some friends and I had theorized, and I think Ian and I had too, that, after that it hit its 100th issue, that we were going to see the book go. And, if we thought it was at least going to take a few issues later, but it ends in true Runaways fashion on a massive fucking cliffhanger.
Yep.
and they shadow canceled it. Like, they just didn't post anything with, they just didn't do anything with solicitations, and when the book came out, they're like, ooh, by the way, last issue.
That's the same shit they did with Falcon. Same shit. And I hate it.
And it's like, oh, Zavin's not dead. Here's the continuation of a plot they started in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, Caroline is leaving again. Chase just got taken to the future.
Oh.
This is fine. It's not like Chase getting hit by a car and the book ending there. Which is how the last run ended.
They just really don't like to leave Chase on a good note.
They don't. They really don't. Like, Future Gert came back, grabbed Chase, took him to the future. Carolina's going back to space, and Nico gives her the Staff of One. Because,
What?
She's in the midst of possession and whatnot, and anytime Nico has stepped out of the Runaways, it's been essentially to get to the Staff of One. She used it in A-Force, she used it in, Avengers Academy. Avengers Arena, excuse me.
I
We
hated
don't
that
talk
book
about
so
Avengers.
much.
But that's her big thing, and it has an evil wizard in it, and it's trying to take possession of her. And so she gives the staff to Carolina and says, take it and don't come back with it.
Damn.
So, like, what's going to happen when somebody wants to stick Nico somewhere and then she magically has the staff? Oh, God. I'm sorry.
no, it's fine. Like
This is like my 20th Runaways cancellation, and it just hurts.
I feel you. Ooh, Mary, Avengers Arena might be a good roast one day.
That would just be like 45 minutes to an hour and a half of me crying. Like,
Honestly, right? Because I remember when that book came out.
I don't want to expose Travis to that, because I bought that fucking book. I would go every new issue, and I would sit there and read it at the counter while I was paying for it, and I would die inside as I was paying for it. I gave the money for that.
And the worst part is, he'd have to read Avengers Academy beforehand. That way he isn't that confused.
I mean, not really. They get kidnapped from the school, Bing Bang Boom.
That's fair.
Travis, have you ever seen the Japanese movie Battle Royale?
I think Travis is dead.
I think I actively avoided that.
Have you seen
hear
that?
me? Hello?
Yes, you're here.
Yeah, we can hear you. Have you seen Battle Royale?
Okay, I think I've actively avoided that.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it's basically like Battle Royale, but with a bunch of Marvel teenagers. They get kidnapped, stuck on a lovely planet called Murder World, and are made to fight to the death.
It's very strange.
That sounds
awful, because the book is just like narratively
also
awful.
What happened? What's going on with this thumbnail that I just witnessed in chat?
We that later. We talked about this before the show. We don't know like this. Yeah, no. Anyway,
what is happening?
We talked about this before the show, Travis. You just weren't paying attention. Anyway, moving on. We are going to move into our next topic, because obviously we both myself, Mary, and Travis agree that Kate Bishop having to have her name stapled to her superhero code name is stupid. But hopefully the book is good, and we will see progress occur. And hopefully Haley Steinfeld isn't horrible in the role.
She'll do really well. I think she's real talented.
Yes. Oh Lord. Anyway, Travis. In our next story,
damn it, Travis.
He's right, but I hate it. You know what? No, you know what? I'm gonna put it on blast because I want to speak on it. I want to speak on it. You know what? Fine. We're gonna do it real quick. So, for those who don't frequent the internet, there was a news story. I'm not gonna link it. I'm not gonna throw shade to the writer, because he definitely did a good job of retracting it after the fact. There was a situation where well-known dumbass and rejected comic book artist and stupid idiot who needs to go away, Mr. Ethan Van Sciver, come at me, motherfucker. You can come on my show and I'll holla at you. Had the audacity to do an entire live stream where he tried to say that he had the insider scoop that Superman was going to be made gay and that everyone needed to listen to him. So any casual nerds out there who were super excited about more diversity just clung to it like for dear life. So random LGBTQIA plus news site caught wind of it and ran with it, because they're like, oh, this guy knows about the comics and whatnot. And then I immediately emailed them and fixed it. Because you got me fucked up, Ethan. If you think I'm gonna let you come up in my house and talk some shit like that, you better get your shit right. I don't care if you think that fucking Jim Lee is talking to you himself and saying that Batman is gonna be gay. I will run you out of town if you think you and your stupid Cyber Frog book are gonna walk up in here and talk like you got some sense, because you ain't got none. Get out of here. Anyway.
How do you really feel, James?
I'm just tired of it, bro. Like, between episodes of 58, where we fucking smashed the Comics Gate bot accounts, and the past, like, 7 years, 5 years, because Riri came out in 2016. 5 years of these dumbasses being up in our fucking comics, fucking bitching about diversity, and fucking talking about, oh, we got our fucking Indiegogos and our better comic books than SJW Marvel. Fuck off. Like, no one cares anymore. Like, y'all talking this shit like y'all matter. You're a bunch of fat white nerds that have no brain cells because you think that freaking milk bread fucking Hal Jordan or anybody else that you want to throw into the mix, because I had more fucking Hal Jordan defenders in my Twitter DMs this week, which that was fun. But in general, it's just, I hate it. And I want them to die, and if they don't quit harassing comic creators because you think they're too SJW for you, you gonna hear from me, because I'm tired of it. Anyway, next moving story. Another one of Comics Gate's most hit.
No. If we're putting this on blast, I'm putting Travis on blast.
Oh, Travis, go for it.
No, because Travis posted in the Discord that you think Clark is a bottom.
Oh, Clark is totally a bottom. What the fuck do you mean?
Look at how Bruce is holding this motherfucker's head. That's bottom behavior.
First of all, the thumbnail is fan art
on Clark's part.
The picture is fan art, but Mary, you know that Lois Lane is the most strong, independent woman in the entire human.
I would bet money she pegs him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Clark is a bottom. Like,
I would bet money.
Yes, no. Clark is very.
She got the kryptonite strap. You know.
Oh yes, most definitely. Like for a fact, we like we're kind of skipping to our shipping topic here in a minute, but like it's very obvious that Clark is a bottom. Like, just from the way, like, when he is Clark and he has the glasses on, he's like, Lois, I'm just looking out for your best interest, and she's like, can't at Smallville. Like, it's so obvious. Like, even when he is, like, being super, like, power Superman about it, like, nah, man. You know for a damn fact that Lois is pulling out the strap on his ass.
So, also, you need to think about it like this, too. Like, Clark is the epitome of, like, the super fucking buff guy that's very delicate with things that he can break. Because for Clark, that's everything.
That's very true.
And honestly, giving up that control.
Oh, yes. Because the man can break the fucking world. Imagine if he lets somebody break him. Anyway, we've divulged into things that are for later in the episode.
Okay, so panel to panel consensus, Lois pegs Clark Kent.
Oh god, that's gonna be a fucking
pegs Clark, and Clark fucking loves it.
Absolutely.
She throws his ankles behind his ears.
God damn it. Oh my god. So is that going to be the title of the fucking episode at this point? Because Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh god. Could we even get away with that?
I would like to add that even if she's not pegging him, they probably bone Amazon style.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like, if Lois loves Clark or Lois and Clark, the series can be a title. I mean, Lois pegs Clark can totally be a thing.
I mean, I'm sorry. Now I just have the image of Clark bent over, Lois pegging him, and Diana off to the side with a whistle, trying to coach her Amazon style.
Oh, pull forward, Lois.
Move your left foot 6 degrees to the right.
I can't. Okay. All right. I'm gonna get this road back on track here. So.
This episode's gonna get weird, y'all.
Especially when we get to the ship section.
Fanfic writers, you're welcome.
Okay, so moving back over to the Marvel side of things before we divulge into the shipping. It was reported as we sort of dove into, and fuck you, Comicsgate, I will be happy as hell about this for the rest of my life. Anthony Mackie has officially signed on to be Sam Wilson in Captain America 4. We entitled not existing yet. But in general, this is great. It was basically confirmed at the end of fucking Falcon and the Winter Soldier that it was going to be a thing. But in general, this is awesome, and that's all I got to say about it. I've been super excited for Sam as Cap ever since Rick Remender made it happen, and I think that's awesome that he's getting his own movie. And it's a big fuck you to any white man who wants to throw shade at me. Have a nice day. Travis, Mary, any opinions or any agreeances on your part?
I mean, yeah, I'm excited.
Yes.
I just, like, I don't think you said there's really nothing I can add because I do agree with you.
Mm-hmm. Travis? I think Travis is dead.
Yeah. This isn't a very controversial topic with us.
Well,
Right.
well, I mean, true, but the next one's gonna
Boo.
be. Yeah, but like the next topic's gonna be me and Mary yelling at the sky. So I want you to be in the conversation before me and Mary are hopping up and down. So, are you excited?
Bold of you to assume that Travis won't be excited.
Well, he doesn't pay attention, so I don't think that he'll know what's going on until we explain it to him. So, yeah,
I'm very much disconnected from grapevines.
exactly. So, moving on to our next topic. Now that we all agree that Sam getting his own movie is amazing. Hey, Travis.
So.
You like Birds of Prey, right?
Yeah, of course.
You like you liked Lovecraft Country.
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Black
so
Canary movie, because I did hear about this.
Okay, yeah. So what if I told you the writer of Lovecraft Country is going to be writing the script for a Black Canary movie starring Journey Smollett Bell?
Then I would say her name is Letitia fucking Lewis.
Yes. Oh
Okay.
yes.
See, here's the thing: is that I have pulled out the cork board. I've got the yarn. I am full conspiracy theory at this point. There were a series of emojis that Misha Green put up, and many of them indicated that there could be more than just Black Canary. And Journey Smollett, well, she actually got divorced, so it's just Journey Smollett now. She she's mentioned in the past that she really wants this character in a Black Canary project. So fingers crossed, we could be getting Lady fucking Shiva.
Oh snap! Oh snap! And
fucking time.
I'm so high.
Which means,
honestly,
maybe we get to introduce her as Cassandra's mama.
yeah.
Ooh.
So I'm sitting here polishing up a Twitter thread of all of the women that I think would be amazing as Lady Shiva.
Bro, imagine the idea of Journey coaching
One cast
Cassandra.
and one cast only.
Who?
Hold up, I forgot her name for a second.
Oh my god. But and I love how Misha, Journey, and Gail Simone are all on Twitter just
Ming-Na Wen.
Yes. Okay, I can support that.
Oh, I mean, given what she's done recently in Star Wars, yeah, I could co-sign her being Shiva. I could co-sign that. Yeah.
I'll be completely honest, she's the only fucking choice for Lady Shiva. Do it now.
I mean,
there's something
insert
coming.
Mulan joke here, I guess.
Yeah, that's an easy pick. Plus, she's already been in other properties and shit. So that's an easy grab. But there's so many amazing up and coming Asian American people that could totally kill that role. So yeah, but okay.
I just realized that I don't know if my list of fan casts are women I want to play Shiva or women that I want to kick my ass.
Oh my god.
Because I feel like there's a very. I feel like Travis understands that there is a very fine line between that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I think Olivia Chen would probably be another really good choice now that I think about it. And she's not of much fame, so that would be probably a probable grab now that I think about it.
Honestly, if fucking Gemma
She's
Chan
more
wouldn't have went back
international
over to if Gemma Chan wouldn't have went back over to fucking Marvel for Eternals, I would have said Gemma Chan would have been great for Lady Shiva.
See, I also like the idea of Constance Wu, because apparently Constance Wu is a diva, and we all know Shiva's a diva.
Yeah, that could
I also
work.
think I also think I just want Constance Wu to kick my ass. I tried to watch Hustlers, but I didn't make it through Hustlers because I'm pretty sure I passed out halfway through the film and then woke up during the credits.
Damn. Step your game up.
I'm sorry, when Jennifer Lopez
I feel like
comes
Constance
out
Wu
and
doesn't have that. She doesn't have that angry I'm gonna fuck you up by looking at you face.
Nah, Constance Wu could do it. Constance Wu could totally pull off Shiva. I know she could.
But I think she's probably just a little too old for the role. At this point, I'm not 100% sure how old, because I know she's in her 50s at this point. But with Cass being, as old, the numbers would have to line up strangely. But honestly, my ultimate fan cast for Lady Shiva, and this might be the basic bitch choice, but it's always been Lucy Liu. I
knew you were gonna fucking say that.
I mean,
I thought my first choice was the basic bitch choice, but damn.
I'm pretty sold on Constance Wu. I'm not gonna lie, because she fits the Shiva bill very well. I'm not gonna lie.
And Constance Wu can pull off Shiva's bitch look really well.
Oh, definitely.
Because when Shiva just kind of glares at you.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. There have been requests and possibilities that Oliver Queen could be black because of Journey being a black canary. Who y'all think could be a really good Oliver Queen? Because I feel like this could be a reckoning here.
A specifically black Oliver Queen?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to bring back Stephen Amell?
You failed this casting.
Yes. That's the one time that joke can be valid.
Truly, the only criteria I genuinely have for the physical characteristics of a Green Arrow is that give me the goddamn goatee already.
Bro, not give me the goatee and give me somebody who knows how to tell a fucking joke. And
Olivia Munn is another good one. Sorry,
Olivia Munn. Yeah, that's true. Nah, yeah. I mean she was already Psylocke though.
She did well as Psylocke.
Those movies were garbage.
That's very true. Those movies were horrible. But
Travis, we have to take the justifications where we can.
Yes.
So, and I'm sorry, I will give Olivia Munn credit for stuffing herself into a comic book accurate costume, because that thing looks uncomfortable because her tits are all smushed. I have those, and I know how much pressure.
She says I have those.
Yeah, I know how easily some certain pressure can hurt, and that was uncomfortable.
But no, I'm sorry. I just love the term of going I have those. That was such a clean statement. I love that. But no, in general, I think a black Oliver Queen would be very influential. And the idea of a black philanthropist who goes through alcoholism but can still crack a fucking joke, because here's the controversial opinion, guys, and it's true, whether you like it or not. Stephen Amell was not Oliver Queen. Stephen Amell was just Bruce Wayne in a green leotard. And it's sad because all the casuals ate it up because they like Batman, when in reality, the closest thing we've ever had to a live-action Green Arrow was Justin Hartley on Smallville.
Okay, so I'm gonna
get off the Smallville hate train. So you need to get off.
I have a pretty good fan cast for Black Oliver Queen.
Hit me.
Damson Idris. I don't know if you guys watch Snowfall or not.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm unfamiliar, so let me do some light Googling.
I mean, okay, I can see it. I can definitely see it. Yeah, for real.
He's got the smirk. It's the smirk.
Yeah, it's the smirk. Yeah. I feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know who he is.
He could definitely pull it off for real. Yeah. Okay. That's dope. So one thing, I think my one request, even if we don't get Oliver or anything like that in this movie, I think my one request is, yes, I understand that we're getting a lot of Justice Society tie-ins in the Black Adam movie for no fucking reason. We've already hinted at the fact that Journey's mom or Dinah's mom was a thing before Birds of Prey as a superhero. So more JSA or Seven Soldiers of Victory type tie-ins, please, because like that'd be really fucking dope to see like a black freedom fighter woman with canary voice powers like in the old time. That'd be really fucking dope. So if you could give me some of that, please, Misha, I would appreciate that. And like maybe some like Justice Society tie-ins too to like connect Black Adam and her. That'd be kind of dope, wouldn't it? Yeah, let's do that, please. Thank you.
I also just vote we avoid the whole putting the mother's brain into the daughter's body
Oh
thing.
God! Please, yes,
Because
don't do that.
the Silver Age was weird. I
Yes, it
hate the
was.
Silver Age.
Oh, it's so weird. Oh, but yeah, no. That's my one request is like if we've already tapped the dime that was the legacy of Black Canary, I would very much request that we continue to do so because you already hinted at the idea there could have been a black woman freedom fighter, Black Canary. I need this to be a thing, please. Thank you.
I can also see them just doing a Canary focus for maybe a first installment and then bringing Oliver in for a second installment.
Like a Nick Fury like end of the movie teaser, and then like a 2 coming around with like both of them. That'd be kind of
yeah. I mean, they always want to make the sequel, you know.
Yeah.
So I could see them holding back Oliver until the sequel. Because admittedly, I do fear that having Oliver in a Black Canary movie, the heavy temptation would be to make it a Green Arrow movie.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think that's another problem that we have is like we're banking on the fact that Journey can carry a project because she can carry a project, and like Dinah doesn't have a whole lot of solo content, and that's the problem. That's what I keep saying about these properties that we want to bank on because we know the actor can carry a project. We don't have enough material. That's why the Naomi show is gonna struggle. That's why the Black Lightning show struggled and it failed and fell to the ground. That's why we know that unless Misha Green pulls enough shit out of her ass to make a spectacular show, which we know she's capable of doing, like this is gonna struggle. So they need to give her enough background here.
I mean, and as someone who has read all of Birds of Prey and has given Chuck Dixon money, this was in the before times.
A long ago.
Even in Chuck Dixon's Birds of Prey, there are a lot of Canary-only things, because the Birds of Prey originally was just Dinah and Barbara. Yeah. Helena was actually added by Gail Simone when she took over the book. So it was originally just the two of them. So what they could do is take some of the Dinah-only moments and just kind of combine that into source material, because Shiva would pop up periodically. I could also see them maybe bringing in Cheshire.
Ooh,
because there's a hilarious
that
issue
would be pretty cool,
where they got to do some shit. So Dinah has to team up with Shiva and Cheshire, and you know Shiva and Cheshire fucking hate each other, and they're all three sitting next to each other on a plane, and it's the funniest goddamn thing.
And I mean, that could be awesome, actually. I would love that.
Well, and one thing we can definitely bank on is that Misha Green is a very well-read and researched.
Oh yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Showrunner, at least from Lovecraft Country, and she has a lot easier job than Black Lightning or Naomi are going to have, because Naomi's got 6 total issues. Once they get past that, what are you going to do? At least in a movie, they can kind of localize one significant arc and maybe pull some stuff from other places and then be done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which we know Misha Green is definitely capable of.
Yeah, especially when the Lovecraft Country book is one small novel, and they took a lot of stuff from just Lovecraft in general and made it into an amazing product that she had an entire second season ready to go before HBO Max canceled it. So I know,
honestly, with like the success of sidebar, with the absolute success of it makes no sense.
It does not, and it pisses me off so much. That show was amazing,
and they canceled it, and then award season came around, and like we're just gonna throw a bunch of nominations at it. Nah.
And then, what's even funnier is the fact that, you walk into a Walmart and the box, for Lovecraft Country says the complete first season, as if they had every intention of continuing it, and then they just didn't. And that makes me so upset. But no, so that is definitely our opinions on the Black Canary movie. Very excited all around. We can't wait to see that come to fruition. Journey Smollett, you have and Michigan. You both have the warmest of extended welcomes to come on to panel and speak to us while we geek out and freak the fuck out. So please join us one day. The last topic of the evening before we divulge into our main discussion is the ever-evolving situation with comics, not comics, like Substack, where multiple comic writers and comic creators have begun flocking to this new platform called Substack, where originally it was pitched as a newsletter type website where any type of creator or writer could come onto this website and create a newsletter for fans and even produce some kind of paid content. Then, through the assistance of, I believe, let me double check that, because I believe it was with the assistance of Captain America Sam Wilson and Spider-Man writer Nick Spencer being a liaison on behalf of the company, they were able to bring in a great deal of comic book writers to begin to create their own works as subscription-based products on the website. And we've seen a multitude of different creators start going over to the system, from the likes of Saladin Ahmed to Scott Snyder. And then the two biggest ones of note from the past few weeks have been Jonathan Hickman saying he's going to leave his run on the X-Men for a Substack created title, and then James Tynion IV leaving Batman to go create a Substack title. And I find myself intrigued, very much intrigued by this possibility that a subscription-based service could be stepping into the arena as a personally creator-based indie-funded platform. We've seen the likes of Kickstarter for the past few years now be an amazing source for creators to fund their projects and make these things come to life. But for a subscription-based type of platform to be able to give creators a new outlet to explore their products, especially with the dawning of...
Sorry, I choked.
Oh, I thought you were making a like laughing at something. I apologize.
Choked on my vape.
Oh, okay. But no, with the recent developments we've heard from the Marvel end of things, where any creator that has their product turned into a source of media is handed a very not worthwhile check and a thank you, it is very intriguing to me, at least, the possibility that these creators could be creating a whole new avenue for people to enjoy their work. And I don't know if DC or Marvel, given the current pandemic, is prepared for the development of this kind of platform. They were already sort of side-eyeing the indie platform service when it came to Kickstarter and whatnot, and even the development of things that like Scott Snyder has been doing, where he has been creating multiple different indie books with Dark Horse, with Amazon exclusives, and such, Amazon originals, mind you. And now we're dealing with the idea about, God damn it, Mary. The idea that these creators could be stepping out on their own feet rather than being under a publishing platform. This could be awesome and very concerning for the big two. And and Mary is the historian of us all. And I have been very intrigued to hear her opinions on this on the air, because this is a interesting topic, to say the least.
I think, quite honestly, given the age of the internet that we are in and how independent projects, and not even just comic books, but like, you know, self-published novels, crowdfunding for like films, short films, feature films. I think I've even seen like some television pilots that are being crowdsourced. And I think when we look at it in terms of comic books, this is basically just what happened in the early 90s, but on the internet. Because in the early 90s, we saw a lot of the guys from the 70s and 80s break off and form their own tiny little publishers. You know, the foremost of those being Image. And honestly, I think this is just that, with this current crop of writers. That, you had major, the biggest example is, Jim Lee was Marvel's golden boy.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Lee could do no wrong at Marvel, and they sniped him for Image.
Yeah, that's true.
And honestly, with some creators leaving the big two, it is disappointing, as fans of some of them, it is disappointing, but at the same time, I do think it's necessary because we need to get new voices in these characters to change perspective and ultimately have the characters grow.
Mm-hmm.
That as much as, I like, insert creator on insert character, they can't just write the character for decades. I mean, you're not always going to stumble on a Chris Claremont who's going to constantly take the X-Men in new directions. So I feel like somebody like Claremont is an exception rather than the rule. But, Tynion has done his damage work on Batman and the Bat properties. And I think, look, I'm still salty.
It's a back and forth thing. Where like there's a lot of good with Tynion, and then there's like those few spots where it's like, what did you do?
Yeah.
I'm so glad I stopped reading, like, right at the end of Good Tynion.
I mean, look, Kate made the right decision, but she was in a fragile state with the general comic audience.
You killed Basil for no reason.
He's not even dead, and there was a reason.
It was so stupid, though.
Because he was gonna... No, I will defend my girl as the day is long.
Okay, but like...
He was going to lose control. And Cassandra would not have been able to get out in time before he killed her. So Kate did it to save not only Cass, but the rest of the city.
Mary, are you really going to come between your two girls right now? Because you have Kate and Cassandra against each other, where Cassandra literally tore off Kate's that symbol. I know, right? Kate tore off Cassandra tore off Kate's fucking insignia and said, "This shit means something." And walked the fuck away because she killed Basil. Are you real? Like, we're doing a crossover in like 3 weeks to talk about Tynion's run, so like we can talk about it then. But like, come on now.
Kate made the right choice.
I disagree.
Because they did some hand-wavy nonsense of, we always find a better way. Like, okay, what would have been the better way at that point? Because Bruce is perfectly fine letting the kids die. He's perfectly fine with it. Oh, yeah, And, what would he have done? Cass would have been killed, and he would have, angrily brooded at Basil, and it would have been this whole big thing. Kate made the decision that no one else could at the time. Honestly, I see it akin is to Wonder Woman snapping Max Lord's neck.
Oh man,
she made the decision that no one else could or no one else would.
Oh, bro, you just tied two different things together, and I don't know how I feel about it.
And like it's the same thing. It really is that in order to cause widespread to prevent the cause of widespread devastation and death, they sacrificed part of themselves. Kate would rather Cassandra hate her and live than Cass die because Kate did nothing. And I think that's a conscious choice a lot of people would make, is that, I would rather someone hate me and be alive and, instead of, them dying and I have to live with the fact that I could have done something and I didn't.
I'm so torn because I want to say you're wrong, but I know part of me knows you're right, and I hate that.
And it boils down to, you can't look at that singular moment in isolation. You have to compare it to the bizarre family meeting that Bruce calls afterwards.
I love that meeting so much.
Where Barbara summarily bends him over and just lets him have it. Like, Barbara rips every argument of his apart, and he knew she was going to.
And I love how Jason defended Kate, like, yo, dog, I'm not gonna say shit against her. Like that was so clean. That was so clean. But we will be discussing this in a few weeks with during a crossover, and we will save the rest of this conversation for then. But in general, Mary
Pitkin did nothing wrong.
Here we go.
But anyway, to my original point. I think this move to Substack, I think it is akin to creators breaking off and forming their own tiny publishing companies. Mm-hmm. That, it was somewhere where they could do what they wanted with, minimal restrictions. They don't really have, Big Daddy Disney or Big Daddy Warner Brothers kind of glaring down at them, telling them what they can and can't do. This is the opportunity for them to do whatever. But this way, they can contract people on like an issue by issue basis, if you will. Mm-hmm. That, okay, if I didn't get along with, the editor I had for, this chapter, or this issue, I can just find someone else. So I think it also gives them flexibility in their own schedules and who they work with.
That is definitely true.
And I feel like with crowdfunding, there is a bit more fan engagement that, you're gonna, if you think a certain reward or, backer reward is good enough, you're gonna give that little extra. You're not gonna pay the one-time fee, to pre-order it, as it were. Mm-hmm. Now, I think this will be damaging for comic shops, absolutely. But
totally, yes.
We're seeing comics move primarily online. And, print kind of taking a backdoor to it.
Yeah, and one thing that I've noticed and what somewhat bothers me is the fact that there's been no, and I would love to hear a creator's take on this, and I might even reach out to one for their take, is there's a lack of concern for the comic shop. There is whereas we had things like Comixology developing where if you bought a book digitally, you could buy it through your comic book store storefront and use it as an option to fund your store and keep it afloat with Amazon only taking a certain amount. But now we're running into an issue where essentially creators are creating webcomics. And granted, webcomics are valid and are an amazing source of entertainment for many, but there's no, I don't want to say respect. I think the better word is a lack of thought in regards to where the art form came from. And I don't want to sound like, oh, you rotten kids and your newfangled technology. That's not what I'm saying at all, because I love reading digital books. But at the same time, one thing that I always say at the end of the show is support your local comic book shop. And growing up, I didn't have one near me, and only till I just recently moved back to my hometown did I find out that one sprang up while I was gone. And that's an amazing feat that a comic book store can develop from nothing in a new modern age. So I would definitely love... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, I think...
Go ahead.
I said I was gonna say that I think it's less about they don't, have affection or respect or, whatever for comic book shops. I think honestly, it's just a matter of financial necessity.
Of course,
because prior to the age of the internet, and honestly, after kind of like the fall of the newsstand edition, comic book shops, they functioned as specialty shops. Creators and the big two publishers needed comic book shops to sell their merchandise. Mm-hmm. That, if you were walking into a comic book shop, exactly what you're going to get. And so, we would kind of lean that way because they would, and I worked in a shop, and shops have to market the books because we need to make back the money that we spent getting the product from the publishers.
Of course.
So I think at this point, that's not really necessary, that a creator can now market themselves purely online and, cultivate and cater to their fan base purely online, that they don't have to play the publisher shop game anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're seeing more creators pulling back, and, I've seen some that are restricting themselves to online projects only.
Oh, definitely. And granted, I'm definitely of the belief that this is a great thing for those creators. And you taking control of your work and doing your own thing is great. That's why I phrased what I said the way I did, because it is a lack of thought because they're trying to preserve their own work and make their own living.
Mm-hmm.
And
honestly,
yeah,
it's cheaper.
Yeah, most definitely.
You don't have to spend money to print up promotional posters or, little things here and there. It's cheaper because they're quite literally cutting out the middleman. And it is both understandable from a functional, financial, and honestly moral perspective, but at the same time, it's also heartbreaking because comic book shops are how so many of us were pulled into the industry. Now, granted, there's a part of me that is absolutely paranoid. I'm one of those people that says, okay, I need a physical copy of this because what happens the day Comixology shuts down,
Exactly. That's the one thing I've always feared, yes.
Like, if there's a series of a TV show or something that I want, I will buy the Blu-ray set. And because, I've had people tell me, like, oh, it's on thus and so streaming service. And I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do when it's off thus and so streaming service?
Exactly. We live in an age where HBO Max is taking off freaking Space Jam 2 and Suicide Squad in the next few, weeks, months, because they have a filtering system where they keep rotating their content similar to what Netflix used to do. And
what they're doing... They're taking off Space Jam and Suicide Squad because that would be the end of the theatrical release.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And then what they're doing afterwards is then they're putting it up for purchased rental, for digital rental.
That's stupid. Which I hate that.
It from what I understand,
are they really doing that?
Yes.
Yes. Because they started that with Wonder Woman 84.
But see, that's almost like the reverse of what they should be doing, because Amazon and Disney Plus kind of coined of what you really should do, especially with Amazon at the beginning of the pandemic, where they were just like, yo, you want this? Pay $20, $30. No, I don't give a fuck. And then when the theatrical the release is over, then the ability to purchase goes away. And then when after a few months, then they're like, hey, here's this product available for streaming. That makes more sense than doing the reverse, which is, hey, here's it for free, then later you can get it for a rental. That's literally the reverse.
It damn near doubled HBO Max subscriber numbers. That's why they did it. Because prior to the release of Wonder Woman 1984, the app was struggling. It did not get as many subs as they thought it would out of the gate. So then they made the decision to move their entire 2021 film slate to the app because, A, pandemic, B, boosting numbers, and it paid off. There are multiple Warner Brothers releases that I have watched here at home. I have not gone to a movie theater in over a year. Hell, I don't even think the theaters in my city are open. And you would have to pay me to step foot into a theater. I'm fully vaccinated, but no. But the fact that people had the option to sit at home and watch new releases the same day they come out safely from their couch. And it was a conversation I had with Victoria. She made a point about this. She said, here's because she and I got into a conversation of what would happen if, once the pandemic finally wanes down or hits an endemic stage. What would, we do about films that released on apps but didn't release in theaters? It's well, if you watch it on the streaming service or the app or whatnot, there are a lot of people who would be like, I really enjoyed this in my living room. I kind of want to go see it on a 30-foot screen,
Yeah.
So, no, the reason why HBO Max has done that was to boost their sub numbers, and it has worked gloriously.
It's very interesting, yeah.
Because they also disabled their free trial.
Yeah, I saw they did that when Wonder Woman hit. They disabled the free trial, yeah.
And even just from my own tiny little section of the internet, I saw a lot of people get at least the 1 month of HBO Max for Wonder Woman. And then they're kind of like, oh, okay. They find other things on the app. Mm-hmm. Now, admittedly, where they are shooting themselves in the foot is the fact that for some reason, I don't know, Warner Brothers is dumb. They keep a lot of their shit US only.
That is what's really biting them in the ass, yeah.
because there was also a lot of piracy for Wonder Woman 84, and I'm seeing it again for the Suicide Squad, is that, hell, the Snyder Cut was probably the most pirated thing on that damn streaming service.
Yep. Hell, Black Widow itself, like with Black Widow with Disney Plus, the minute that they put that up for purchase, like all the pirated sites already had it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so no, not to derail or whatever, but that's why HBO Max is doing what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Travis, now that we've had like 5 different conversations, because this is what me and Mary do, what is your opinion on the idea of like comic readers taking to their own platform versus being with a specific publisher?
I think that's perfect. I think it's something that it kind of expresses to not only like the fans but the publishers that it's the creators that are like holding the weight and doing the work. And with creative freedom, maybe we can finally see some of these writers really, really, really shine. Mm. Because it's different than doing like a, hey, we need you to do a Batman story where Joker steals all of his money. Make it good.
It's like your main freaking like point that you keep using. I find it hilarious.
Wait, what?
But that's like 2 weeks in a row you've made that same reference to the Batman run, and I find it so funny.
That's when I cut myself off. It's the most recent reference I have.
That's so it has a lot of promise, and I definitely would love to get a creator's opinion on this because it definitely holds a lot of potential for creators to reach out to their fans in a new way. I know the newsletter portion of it was very exciting for a lot of creators to use as a way to talk about content for their fans, similar to what like back pages would be for creators with the big 2 previously. So there's a lot of potential behind it. They even have Substack has said they are trying to enlist podcasters for their for their service. So I might look into that for us. But in general, that's why I wanted to talk about this from a unbiased perspective beforehand, before I started doing more digging, because there is a lot of potential, but I am fearful for comic shops when it comes to the material. So we'll have to wait and see how this develops.
The unfortunate reality is that comic shops are on the way out. And it is something that really cannot be avoided. I mean, it depresses me from both, a comic book marketing standpoint and honestly just as a small business standpoint. Because I'm very much about supporting small locally owned businesses that most comic shops tend to be. I mean, there are obvious exceptions like Graham Crackers and whatnot that I think has like 11 different locations.
Yeah.
But and it's always really upsetting to see a local business go, but I think that time has come and gone. It is akin to the fall of the newsstand, except on a less, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I feel like we still have a few more years of potential for the comic shop, and there could be
further they're evolution. Not closing like tomorrow.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not.
I'd say honestly, I think we're going to see a lot of drastic change, at least in the next 8 to 10 years.
That's fair. Okay. So that is definitely the end of our news discussion. We have about half an hour to shoot the shit and talk about a few different of our favorite comic book ships. We want to hang out with you folks and talk about some of our favorite relationships that are in comics over the past few years, and even have a little bit of a debate on a few of them. There is at least 2 on my list that are more debate based rather than a favorite. I have one that is just like my all-time like ride or die squad that I wish that Bendis wouldn't have destroyed because he's I'm not gonna insult the man because like he's a diverse, like I have diverse of opinions on him, but I still think he's a very good writer at times. So
I heard that addendum.
I had to, because I wouldn't just call him on like oh, he's a craphead or something like that's not fair. Like, he has written some of the most like iconic stories of our lifetime, but he's also written some of the worst of our lifetime, like we talked about last week, like on our last episode. So it's like I don't want to just outright insult him, like be like, yo, you're a shit writer. Like, no, that's not fair. It's not true either,
and it's also not true.
Yeah, no. So it's like, he's just fallen to the wayside and like in time, and that sucks. But what I was going to say was my favorite all-time pair, despite it being very stereotypical to take like one of your only two black characters and shove them together and just do something with it, is T'Challa and Aurora Monroe, because the fact that you took two of your most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe and put them together and made them both king and queen of a nation. And even in the most recent comic book run that was done by Ta-Nehisi Coates, they he did his damnedest to try to repair the damage done by Brian Michael Bendis. And it was very much like a publicity wedding. They did it on purpose, like in the early 2000s under the Reginald Hudlin run. But what bothered me the most was the way Brian Michael Bendis ended the relationship by just having T'Challa in one panel tell her to basically fuck off, we're divorced, because Namor, controlled by the Phoenix Force, flooded Wakanda. And it was such a drastic way to just give Storm a middle finger. And then now with the Coates run and the upcoming Ridley run trying to redeem that relationship because it is so dearly loved by fans, I want it to be repaired so badly, but not just forced back together. I want them to repair, because there has been a lot of dumb things that have happened in the between time, like Wolverine and Storm fucking and shit like that. So,
well, honestly, that's been kind of going back and forth for decades.
You're right. And now we have a weird bi-thruple with Scott, Jean, and Logan, which is very strange. But in general, it's one of those things where I just want that relationship to be respected, and I want it to be done right. And hopefully Ridley is able to do that with his upcoming run, which, does that even have a publishing date, or has it been made again? I'll have to look into that. Mary, you're up to the plate next. What is a ship that you stand iconically in comic books?
I mean, is that a serious question?
Hey man, I'm just asking the question. We are here to talk.
Yes. My all-time favorite comic book relationship is Kate Kane and Renee Montoya. And I've been screaming it from the heavens for, God help me, over 14 years at this point. God help me. Hang on, I just need to...
Oh, honey.
Okay, sorry. I am rapidly approaching 30, and it hurts my soul.
You're doing great. We love you.
But it's just, because they were brought together in 52. Kate was actually introduced as an ex of Renee in 52. Mm-hmm. And a lot of character development for the both of them was built on the back of their previous failed relationship. And they circled around each other a lot in the years that followed. And it gave birth to some incredible storylines. Final Crisis Revelation. Crime Bible, 5 Books of Blood. That, we got these incredible stories that they genuinely feel, if we're looking in the pigeonhole of like the pre-Flashpoint universe, they feel like the couple that, they're truly meant to be with each other, but things never really worked out in time, Yeah. And post the New 52 removed Renee Montoya from continuity for several years until she comes back in Detective Comics 41, I think.
Yes, I think so.
But, 40, 41, that kind of a thing. But that's, several years right there. And even then, they started her character over. That, she was working for the Internal Affairs Department. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't really until Rebirth that we saw the two of them back together. Yeah, I'm using air quotes here, but not like back together romantically, but like back together kind of in each other's circles, because Renee starts to take a prominent side role in Detective Comics. Because, if there's something shady going on, Kate will step back and call Renee. And obviously when Batwoman got her Rebirth book, there was a semi-heavy focus on Renee in the kind of weird future timeline that Tinian and Bennett created that kind of bled over from Detective Comics.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of the book, in the last couple of issues, they kind of build up to the two of them getting back together.
And then nothing happened.
Well, shut up. Well, and somebody, a dear friend of mine, Laura, on Twitter, sent me a link, and I'm like, oh my god, Victoria, look, this is really cool, and it was my Christmas gift from Victoria. It's not the original page. It's not the original page, but it is the monoprint, which basically means there is only a singular print made from that page. So I have the only version, so effectively is an original page. So I essentially have the original page for the issue where they're kind of like holding hands and being all cutesy and shit. I'm actually looking at it right now because it's hanging up on my wall.
Oh.
So, for Christmas, this past year, Victoria bought me 2 prints off Etsy. One of them is Batwoman, and the other is Renee is the Question.
Oh.
So, yeah, I am incredibly invested in this relationship, and I have been for a very long time. And if I had to, like, say this is my favorite comic book relationship, it is Kate Kane and Renee Montoya. Like, Greg Rucka, why did you do what you did in Lois Lane? You broke my heart.
All right, Travis, speak on it.
Yes.
Give me something, and you're not allowed to say Dick and Barbara or Dick and Corey because that's going to be a discussion we have after everyone gives a favor.
My favorite.
I want to have.
Is for thematic reasons.
It's because of the animated series, isn't it, Travis?
No, it's actually because of some of the comics where they're like have brief flings, like they're never like together, but
they are
I dig the respect she has for him.
See, here I gotta freaking give Tom.
Hey, you can say what you want, but Batman runs around in a leather suit, and Wonder Woman runs around in a corset, high heel stiletto boots, and ties motherfuckers up. This makes sense.
Give me a second. I have to hurt I have to physically hurt myself because of the fact that I have to give Tom King credit for something. Oh, okay.
Are you
So,
okay?
I'm not okay. But we're gonna
call a
get
doctor.
We're gonna get through this. So,
Travis, do doctors still make house calls? I'm worried about James.
So, in the lead up to Batman number 50, where we were supposed to get the wedding of Batman and Selina, there was the issue where Diana and Bruce were trapped in a parallel dimension to pay a debt to a friend of theirs because they swapped places with him so that way he could see a loved one, and they were stuck in a parallel dimension for a year. And they get very close 10 years? It was 10 years. Wow, that's even worse.
10 years.
That makes it even worse. I genuinely forgot that the year count. Anyway, in that time frame, they spend a lot of time with each other, never end up fucking, and they just tolerate each other. And they respect each other on a dynamic level that
makes no sense.
Surprisingly...
No, Diana more or less tries to seduce him.
Yes.
And he's like, I love Selina.
Pretty much, yeah. Like
that.
Tom King straight up like puts the fucking cock block on it and says, yo, we're not gonna proceed with this. And Diana's like, all right. And like she ends up respecting him for it. And it's one of those things where, similarly to the New 52 travesty that was the Clark and Diana thing, I really don't think we need to have like incest between the Trinity.
We don't talk down on Wonder Woman's bad bitch phase, okay?
No. That was not a bad bitch phase. That was called Jim Lee really wanted to draw some weird art. And I'm not
She squeezed Orion's nuts for talking cross at her. That happened.
But we don't talk about the New 52, Travis. We know this. Did I say 75? 75 was going to be why James hates the New 52? Yeah, 75. Okay. So, yeah, no, it's just similarly to the New 52 Superman and Wonder Woman thing. I just and I'm gonna let you speak on it because like it is your favorite shit, but I'm gonna let you speak on it. But I feel like Kanye West right now. I don't
Kanye West
think
now.
I don't feel like there should be like incest between the Trinity, and there like should just be a stoic respect. And granted, I don't want Diana to be with Steve Trevor either. Like, no, that needs to get the fuck out of here.
I can't believe you just said that, and now I'm going to up my favorite couple to the thruple of the Holy Trinity.
Jesus Christ. It's just like there should be something else. Like there should be like there's that, and I have to give Tom King credit again because I fucking hate it. There's that great weird fucking issue where Lois and Clark go on a double date with Bruce and Selena. It is one of the most like decompressed.
Great issue, though.
Yeah, it really is a great issue, and I hate that I have to give Tom King credit for that because the idea of like Bruce wearing Clark's suit and Lois wearing Selena's suit is so fucking funny, and they go to like a Halloween thing or a costume thing, and it's so entertaining. But it's just like that whole vibe was so just like, yo, you could like this should just be like, yo, what if Wonder Woman found herself a lady or a dude, and they did that same shit in like a tri-date thing? That would be dope. I'm not saying we should never let Wonder Woman fuck. I'm just saying that Wonder Woman deserves her own piece of ass that isn't one of these two motherfuckers. Now, Travis, you may continue. I'm sorry.
I do want to point out something real quick about that Tom King thing in particular, is that it was universally panned.
It was universally panned.
Even people that ardently defended the run are kind of like, why is Wonder Woman just the sexy temptress?
Yes, that's why I sort of glossed past that because it felt weird to say that.
Well, it is kind of, it's important to point out that Tom King actually made a public apology for how Wonder Woman was written in those 2 issues, I think.
I think it was 2 issues. Yeah, 2 issues.
Yeah, but he made a public apology on Twitter for how it was written because people are kind of like, this isn't Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one comment especially basically just saying, you just wrote Talia and put her in Wonder Woman's costume.
Ooh.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
And now I think, honestly, in defense of Travis here, first of all, I don't hate Wonderbat either.
I don't hate it. I just like it's not my favorite thing. I think Diana needs her own piece of ass. That's what I'm saying.
All the reasons that Diana likes Steve Trevor, Batman is those qualities times 1,000.
Yeah, but I never said I like Steve Trevor either. In fact, I said I hated Steve Trevor with her.
No, I know. I hate Steve Trevor too, but he is not Bruce. I like Bruce.
I mean, we all like Bruce in one way or another, but also we hate Bruce.
There is an issue. I believe it's Justice League of America, where Bruce and where Diana is considering, it's a singular issue, and Diana is more or less considering what kind of a life she could have with Bruce. And there's this little machine that she gets. I'm horribly streamlining the plot here. And the entire issue is just several different scenarios of what her life would be like if she was romantically involved with Bruce. Wow. I mean, we have everything from him aging and her not, because she wouldn't. She become, Wonder Woman as Batwoman kind of a thing. Like, they're all very bittersweet because there's always something that doesn't work. And she goes to Bruce with the information and she's like, look, I care very deeply for you, but I just don't think it would work between us. And Bruce is like, honestly, same. So they care, and I like Wonderbat in a sense that I almost like that it doesn't work. Because
it's like a violent, passionate fire until Diana beheaded somebody and then Bruce would lose his shit.
Yeah. But I mean, there's such a bittersweet, genuine affection between the two of them that I think in the right setting that it could work, and I think they both could be very happy, but it's kind of one of those in another time, in another life things.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, like, I am a whore for like bittersweet romantic crap, because that's like half of all lesbian novels. So I feel like I've been conditioned. But,
Travis,
but
I feel like we let you we sort of let you chime in your own supposed to be your favorite moment.
yeah, I'm
so
sorry.
Let's give you your time to
Y'all
shine.
assholes.
Hey, man, at least you didn't say Batman and the Rapist. I mean Batman and Talia al Ghul. Like you didn't do that.
No,
And
Talia's a fucking rapist, and I stand on that soapbox, and I will put more soapboxes on that soapbox.
Thank you.
But it's been so conveniently retconned, guys.
Oh, I just hate it. And that's the reason why I can't stand Damian, because he's a product of rape. And like that's why I am. And also, we should have fucking.
Wait a minute now. Damian's circumstances of existence are not his fault.
Agreed. But like Morrison wrote a fucked up book. And like, yes, they are one of the most prolific writers of our time. And we should have put a fucking like, I'll have to put a fucking, trigger warning in the fucking credits of this, but like
put a content warning.
Yeah, I'll have to put a content warning like halfway through the joke of this. But like in general, Grant Morrison, I praise you for the work that you've done in comic books. But if I ever get to meet you, I will be the first person to look you dead in the eye and say Damian Wayne was a mistake. Not only from the concept, but the execution and the fact that he's just a bitch. So like in general, I'm just grateful you didn't say Talia. So I will let you continue, sir.
Well, the reason why I like Wonder Woman and Bruce is because Bruce is like a cold motherfucker, and Wonder Woman is a battle-hardened warrior who also finds a way to not be cold as shit. And so she gets to Bruce in a way that really no one does. Like, Selena gets to him, but not like this. Like,
she shares a certain degree of... Selena shares a certain degree of Bruce's nihilism.
Yeah, that's the truth. But it's like in the opposite direction as Bruce, whereas Wonder Woman is like, there can be hope to Bruce's, there's never hope, there's only planning. And then of course, you know, Bruce is in a furry themed gimp suit, and she's clearly dressed like a dominatrix all the time, and is very good with rope. Very, very good with rope.
I mean, it kind of was her thing for a while. Thank you, William Moulton Marston.
God damn.
And your bizarre sexual appetites.
Okay, so
and just I want to get meta with Travis's suggestion here for a bit.
Go for it.
Is that I think there's also something that could, and admittedly this is meta and all conjecture and speculation and whatnot, but I feel like to Bruce, deep down in those little dark parts of himself, there may be something almost attractive about the fact that she is the one person he cannot defeat. And now, you know,
there's also a lot of Freudian shit going on with mother issues and Diana's nature.
And I mean, that's where all the prep time bros are going to come in. But like, no, we've seen it on multiple occasions that he can't easily defeat her. She has no kryptonite.
Even in Tower of Babel, Mark Waid couldn't figure out how to fucking beat her, so he had to beat her with a crazy method of her fighting herself to death.
Yeah.
Then there's mass piercing weakness. I hate that shit.
In Justice League: A League of One, Bruce tries to take her down emotionally, and she calls him on it. She's like, I know what you're trying to do, and it is not going to work. In the Hikatea, Bruce doesn't try very hard because he knows it's kind of like a pointless effort, but, you know, she gets him on the ground and puts her foot on his head. Like, and Bruce knows he's beat. So I feel like, you know, the furry gimp suit, you know, step on me mommy part of Bruce would find that a little attractive.
Fair enough.
Or am I just projecting? Oh, cool.
No, you're projecting, but also you're correct. Like, yeah, no, you very are much projecting, but you're also correct. But okay, so I made sure to include a Marvel one, but also I agree, it is my favorite ship. So for the sake of for the sake of the war that we are about to have, I want to say both I love both of you. This is going to be a 2-part thing. First of all,
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women.
So,
and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Yes.
Holy
So
Mary, Mother of God, pray for us.
now the hour of innocent men. Okay, so in general, Dick Grayson, Robin, Nightwing, multiple different Batman, multiple different roles over time. Also, Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl, aka Oracle, aka Batgirl again. Even though I hate that she became Batgirl, and Gail Simone, I love you, and I know it wasn't your choice, but I hate that you wrote that. In general, Coriander of the planet Tamaran, Warrior Princess, Amazing Fighter, aka Starfire, Guardian of the Teen Titans and Titans. Who wins? The love affair of Dick Grayson. Because frankly, I think this debate is funny as fuck. Who wants to pick what side?
My genuine response is dump him and date each other. Because think about it. Barbara and Corey, unstoppable power couple.
Valid. Travis, your thoughts, and don't steal Mary's answer.
Wait, what? What?
But my answer is the correct one.
It's the correct one, but I want him to have his own opinion. Because I wanted this to be a
What's
debate.
to say my opinion doesn't align with Mary's? You're not asking controversial questions here.
I wanted to have a fight between who wins, Corey or Barbara, but now you're ruining it.
Because I want this to happen too.
Well, I mean, it's because Dick is, well, a dick. I'm sorry.
Dick is the fucking worst.
It must needs be remarked that there was an issue where Dick sleeps with Barbara, and nearly immediately after, tells her, "Hey, I'm still gonna marry Corey."
Like literally the next day, he's gonna go marry Corey.
And Cassandra Cain
and then invites her.
Beats him. Yeah, and then invites her, and then Cass Cain beats him nearly to death.
Yeah.
So, like, Dick Grayson is an asshole. Now, granted, when the shippers start fighting, my ass runs for the hills.
That's why I wanted to have a fight with the shippers right now. Y'all ruined it.
Okay, look,
let's make the shippers mad with this one here, okay? Jason Todd and Roy Harper.
Okay, hold on.
Make it happen.
Can I admit?
No, yes, Mary's gonna do the thing. Mary's gonna do the thing.
They pretty much already did it with the flamethrower in the shower thing. So,
Travis, I agree with you, but I want Mary to put herself on blast. So, Mary, how do you plead?
I don't hate Jason and Barbara.
That's disgusting.
No, because here's the thing.
I know.
After hearing,
I'm not talking about like running away and getting married. I'm talking about, like he has a small infatuation with her kind of a thing.
Okay, but can we talk about how fucking creepy his introduction, to telling her was? He's like,
yeah, but that's Jeff Johns being a bastard.
No, I'm not talking that Three Jokers nonsense. No, fuck that.
Fuck Jeff Johns for that. That was stupid. But
fuck Jeff Johns for all of that. Yeah. But I like I'm talking like main continuity Jason and Barbara. Because, it was Batman Eternal. He makes a comment about how, meeting Batgirl was an important moment for him. And I like Barbara being an important figure in his life. Kind of like, his first crush kind of a thing.
My philosophy is, as long as it's not the Arkham Knight continuity where randomly Tim and Barbara are a thing, I don't care.
That's gross.
Yeah,
that is more gross than...
Yeah, that's gross. That's
no. We will bring up the unspeakable and talk about New 52's Bruce and Barbara.
That's not New 52. That's animated series. That's not New 52. That's animated series.
No, that happened in the comics, James.
Did it? No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
What issue?
Yes, it did.
What issue?
Okay, here we go.
It was a Batman animated series tie-in comic. It wasn't the New 52. I know all the New 52 mistakes, and that was not a thing.
Well, the book released during the New 52, I believe.
Yeah, but... That's, Travis, I really think you're referencing the whole, Bruce and Barbara fucked in the New 52, and then she had his baby.
No, because I'm talking about a comic.
So there's literally an animated series tie-in book where Bruce, hollers at Barbara, and she goes, "I'm pregnant. Oh, have you told Dick yet? I don't think it's his." That's an animated series tie-in thing because Bruce Timm and Paul Dini are weird.
They have a really weird boner for that. I mean, it works as Barbara having a crush on him in the animated series, But
when you do the killing joke thing and have a whole sex scene that even Tara Strong is uncomfortable with.
I'm 7 weeks pregnant.
Yeah, that's literally that's an animated series tie-in. Okay, cool.
Oh, and it gets worse because then she goes and gets into an alley fight and then loses the baby.
My dudes, hold on. I forgot how terrible this was.
I love how he had us on fucking ready to fight somebody. Like, yo, this happened in the New 52, and then it's like, oh no, we were right the first time. It's just fucking.
Yeah, okay, it happened during the time of the New 52.
Yeah, it was a tie-in comic. Okay, cool. Yeah,
but what I forgot specifically was how she's like, I'm 7 weeks pregnant, and Bruce is like, I'll have to congratulate Dick.
He's only been back for 3.
He's only been back for 3.
I hated that so much.
What
anyway,
Tyler Perry fuck is this writing?
so, who wants to hear my controversial shit with the DC teenagers?
For it.
I think Corey and Vic work because especially after
I've never thought about it, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, right. Because I always loved it in John's Teen Titans run that. Corey and Vic and Gar came back to teach the Young Justice kids, and then in Dan Abnett's fucking what was it fucking Justice League in Space that was supposed to be like a Ultimates ripoff, and it was such a cool fucking book, and the whole pitch was just like Jessica Cruz, Starfire, Cyborg, and Azrael all in space. Oh yeah, Justice League Odyssey. And it was such a cool pitch of Vic and Corey taking these other 2 motherfuckers into space and then having a weird tie-in with Darkseid. And the idea that Vic is able to find love with someone who also views themselves as a monster sometimes because they're from another planet. And he sees himself as a monster because he's not fully human. That pitch has always been something I love to death. And what touched me so much about Justice League Odyssey is the end of it basically has them trying to fix a lot of the continuity mistakes of the New 52 and trying to fuse the New 52 universe with the pre-New 52 because that's what DC wants to do and make you forget that they were separate. And Corey and Vic get their memories back of when they were on the Titans and go back to form the Titans Academy, which don't read that book, kids. It's not good. And you see them evolve. And I think Corey and Vic would be the bomb together.
Travis, you said something fucking kooky. Say that one more time.
Travis, I think Corey and Vic would be great together.
Ew! What the fuck?
What the fuck? Why are you hating? I just spent all this time trying to explain. I just spent all this time trying to explain my point, and then you're just wait, repeat? What the fuck? How do you get off? Explain why you
because you ended it. Because you no. You explained it, and then you ended it with Vic and Corey.
Yeah, Vic and Corey. It sounds great.
Bruh.
Why are you hating? It's a great pitch.
I just can't.
Explain.
No. Mm-mm.
You're not even giving me pushback. You're just saying no.
Corey's not okay. So Corey's not smart enough for Victor.
Excuse me. Excuse me, sir. You both retract that.
I'm sorry.
We're not talking about
my personal ship for you're talking to a man who ships Victor with just a mother box again.
Oh my God.
And only that.
Travis, we're not talking about Scott Lobdell, fucking orange slut in a bikini, Starfire that we don't speak about anymore. We're talking about
James, don't slut shame poorly written comic book characters.
Apologies, but that's what she was. She was a piece of meat in a bikini. I'm sorry, we're not trying to slut shame Corey because that's not what she was. Corey Ander is one of the most badass bitches in all of comics.
Trying to drill dough her with a cyborg either.
But they're both you're making this weird, but I genuinely think they're 2 lost forgotten souls that would be great together. And Mary's I don't hate it, and you're just no, it's better than fucking Raven.
I hate it.
It's better than Raven and Beast Boy.
I hate it. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Let's break down the fucking Teen Titans bullshit
I
here.
I feel like your ship is a lesser form of Raven and Beast Boy. Except
it's a better form.
Victor is
Damn, those are fighting words.
It really is, because here's the controversial opinion, shippers. I think Raven and Beast Boy is gross, because here's the thing: beyond the 2003 animated series and Teen Titans Go, do you realize that Raven is literally thousands or hundreds of years old because of the fact that she just keeps putting herself in new white girls every other day? Like, she just keeps coming back, and Garfield keeps getting older.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with that.
What?
Beast Boy's not a grown man, so I get the whole
It's
like
weird.
1,000 years old thing and whatnot.
It's
but
weird.
is okay? So Raven with a grown ass man. That's not weird.
I'm not.
That's the Lois argument. She's thousands of years old. Totally okay.
No.
You just made the neckbeard argument.
No. Here's my controversial thing. I think Raven would be a boss ass ship for Ace representation, because she is this powerful being that could wreck whole galaxies of people.
That's what I think Cyborg would be.
No. Vic deserves love. Vic deserves to be out there in the paint. Just because he's a robot does not mean he doesn't deserve to be out there getting his thing. I think Raven.
That's not the point.
Vic is Mary, help me out here, because this is our first argument.
Vic is above love. Okay.
Oh my
Vic
God.
doesn't need anything except information, knowledge, and
you act like the motherfucker doesn't have a soul.
He does have a soul. He's the singularity, for fuck's sake. But
Mary,
that's what I think
here.
he should be.
Mary, please help me. Please help me, because this man's off his rock. Please help me.
Nah, you crazy.
I'm just having fun.
This is the first time we haven't agreed on something. I'm appalled at your reaction here. That you straight up are just no.
It's like I never knew who you were. Like,
God damn it.
Okay, because I'm having fun. Like, I'm having fun watching the two of you fight. So I've developed a little game.
Oh dear. Oh God. Here we go.
I will give the two of you a random ass ship that I just made up.
Bet. Let's go.
Oh no.
Bet.
And y'all are gonna have to fight it out.
Let's go.
Oh no.
Let's go.
I mean, okay.
I'm gonna take my glasses off because this is gonna be great.
All right, so I'm gonna keep it in. I'll do a couple DC and then I'll do a couple Marvel.
Let's do it. I like it.
Okay, the first one is John Constantine and Dick Grayson.
Yes, I stand it so much. Not only because, and here's my reasoning. Not only because of the fact that John has this iconic ability to involve himself with anything Batman related, but also because of the fact that because of Injustice and Tom Taylor, Dick has been Deadman and had a relationship, partner relationship with John before. I think that would be an amazing step for Dick in the right direction. Because we all know Dick is either bi or pan. Tim isn't a hey. We'll be doing an episode about Tim Drake being bi soon, because that's amazing for me. But in general, Tim isn't the only bi bird in the house. So I think John and Dick would be actually a really cool combination.
Travis, what's
I fucking hate that.
Oh my God.
I vehemently hate that, and I'm gonna tell you why. Those two as a couple is honestly some of the most toxic shit I can think about.
You're not wrong though.
I love how I actually give reasoning behind it. You're just like, no, that's just toxic.
It's toxic as fuck, bro. Not both of them are vacuous as shit and have fucking serious commitment issues.
That's why they're perfect for each other.
Nah, they'll cheat on each other and then fucking fight about it. And knowing the two of them, it will come to a fist fight that Constantine will win because Dick doesn't have magic. And then the fucked up part is that it's probably going to play out in some weird oh, you have me magically restrained, because they're that toxic. Fuck that. Nope, I don't want to read that shit.
The best our show has ever been. Mary, give me another one.
I love this. I'm having so much fun. Okay, let's do one that's really outlandish. And I hope you know that I'm actually sitting in my room looking around at all my collectibles.
That's funny.
Okay, so I'm looking at my statue shelf. We have Aquaman.
Which one?
And Black Canary.
I hate that.
That just
so
doesn't
much.
make sense to
That doesn't
me.
make sense.
I can't even.
I can't. No, I hate that. Like, I hate that on basic principle. That like, no. I feel like I feel like Dinah would hate him on more of a level than she hates that she loves Ollie. And B, I don't think Arthur could tolerate the independence that is Dinah, because there's a difference between Mara's independence, where she's like able to operate in her own capacity, versus Dinah, where if she doesn't like anything you say, she'll just beat your ass. Like, there's a difference between the dynamics. So, and Oliver knows that firsthand. So that just wouldn't work at all. At all. I feel like me and Travis agree this time.
I don't think I can handle that one. That one's a little rough. I'm trying to like make it make sense, but in my head it does not.
Like it's almost as preposterous,
and that's why it's beautiful.
It's almost as preposterous as the new like Aquaman and Green Arrow tied like team book that's coming out soon. It's like like Underwater Impact or Dead Impact or some shit like that. And it's like who threw this at a dartboard and picked it as a pitch, because it sounds horrible, but like it's the same thing. Like, this doesn't work.
Oh my god, I have one. I have one. All right,
Travis, go for it.
Do it.
This might piss you both off. You're probably both gonna hate it.
Oh god.
Do it.
Guy Gardner.
Oh god.
And Garth.
Like Tempest Garth?
Yes.
That on a dynamic level, and here's the controversial thing, Travis. I don't hate that. And the reason
personalities,
though, and that's what I'm saying. Like, other than like occasionally new books, because fucking Tom King is a psychopath who thought it'd be a good idea to make Garth the alcoholic. You know, that's Roy's thing. Like, Garth is a pompous bitch, and so's Guy. But at the same time, I think you've written yourself into a pickle where you're in the same situation as Dick and John Constantine, where it would just be the same toxic but loving relationship.
Where they fist fight and fuck?
Literally. It would just be that. And I love that kind of dynamics, and you don't. So I'm down with that. Mary, what say you?
See, I don't know if it would be a fist fight and fuck. I think it would be like a just drunk hookup. And they don't even like actually get anything done because they're both fighting about who's going to be on top.
Like, it very much, like, it reminds me of that, like, New 52 Justice League Apocalypse thing where John Constantine looked over and said, "That's my ex," and Raven's like, "Harley?" And he's like, "No, King Shark." That's what that feels like. Where,
oh no.
Like, you haven't seen that?
No,
it's so
I have.
funny.
I'm just reacting to the moment.
Oh, you know, like that moment right there, it feels like that's what Tempest and Guy Gardner would be, where it's like, you know, we hooked up once, we don't talk about it. Like, that's what that feels like. But I can see it being like a toxic relationship thing. Like,
oh god, no! It would be beyond toxic relationship wise.
Like, I can tell you the exact couple that I feel like it would match up with. Fucking Ian and Mickey from Shameless. That's Guy Gardner and Tempest right there. Is Ian
oh god.
and Mickey is right there. Because Ian is Garth, where he's been like damaged and sheltered from being like underwater and whatnot, and Mickey is Guy Gardner. Like, it fits so perfectly. Mary, what was one of your Marvel ones? Because I love this. This is a great ender to the episode.
Hang on, I have one more DC one.
Go for it.
Okay, Hawkman and Zatanna.
Oh, I don't hate that.
I don't hate that, honestly. Like, that's the worst part, because here's the most controversial thing. I hate Carter and Shayera, and you're gonna hate me deep down, Mary, because it's.
Oh, I hate Carter just in general.
Yeah, I hate Carter in general, but like the reason why I'm saying I hate Carter and Shayera is because of what fucking they did to me with the Justice League animated series, where like John and Shayera just work because of like TV brainwashing. But like Carter just seems like a dumb, like, used to be black person but is now a white guy. Like, he's just a dumbass, and I don't think he works with anybody. Which, whose idea was to make an African like a pharaoh into a white guy? Whose idea was that? That's like borderline whitewashing, and we don't talk about that anyway.
The Mesopotamians.
I thought they were Egyptians. Oh, you're making a joke. Okay.
Okay, but like that's complicated depending upon what time period we're talking about in dynastic Egypt. Oh god, my Bronze Age.
Oh yeah, that's true.
My Bronze Age is showing.
Yeah,
That's right, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen. We can crack history jokes.
honestly. But yeah, no, like Zatanna and Carter, they're both kind of
Okay.
toxic people with daddy issues. So yeah, that makes sense. I could see that working. I could see Zatanna falling for Carter.
Okay, I gotta try this again.
Okay,
Because I want to get one that's like truly repulsive.
do it.
But like I can't like do the ladies together because Bombshells already did that.
Yeah, you're right, and it did it well.
And I'm sorry, in no universe did I ever expect to have to look at a love triangle. Granted, they're all teenagers, so it's fine. But a love triangle between Supergirl, Lois Lane, and Raven. And
That's
it
weird.
works.
That's
and
weird.
it's weird.
It's
and
weird.
I love that it works. So, okay, let me try and find one truly repulsive.
I don't know. I thought the beginning of Bombshell with Diana and Mara kind of worked, but that's just me.
Oh, no. I'm talking about a ship to propose to the two of you.
Okay.
Okay. Heebity. Superman. And, God.
You're like hurting your brain, and it's kind of funny.
I'm trying to think of like the most like repugnant thing that I can.
I got a fun one: Superman and Big Barda.
That's
Because
They
That's
almost
just
had
a
a porno.
power fantasy. Like,
I was about to say, it'd be
Are we gonna-
Go
Are we
ahead.
going to revisit the time that Superman and Big Barda almost made a porno? Because that's a thing that happened.
That is the thing that almost happened. We'll say, yeah, that would just be more pegging. That's literally what that would be, is just more pegging.
I imagine a version of what happened in Jessica Jones when her and Luke Cage went at it, but just on a larger scale.
Yes. Also, one of my other favorite great Marvel ships is fucking those two, is like, yeah, Luke and her. I love that so much. It's one of my favorite ships of all time. And Bendis, that's another good thing you did. Good job.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I got it. Superman and Catwoman.
What?
Superman and Catwoman.
How would that even remotely work?
I feel like Clark on a Boy Scout level would just be like, "Sorry, miss, I do not want to fraternize with you." That's all I get from that. Is just like, I do not want to fraternize with you whatsoever. Like, even on like a bad girl level, I don't see Clark touching Selena with a 10-foot pole, other than like put her in jail.
Okay, one more. Here's a bonus one. Black Lightning and Poison Ivy.
Villain Poison Ivy or somewhat reformed Poison Ivy?
Villain Poison Ivy.
Nah.
That's tough.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't. Yeah, we can't do it.
Okay, so let's jump over to some of my Marvel ships.
Go for it. It'll be a great way to end the show. Let's do it.
Okay. So Storm and Cyclops.
So there's one of my favorite. I don't remember if Claremont wrote it or who wrote it, but there's that great comic book issue of Uncanny X-Men that was sold with some of the Marvel Legends books, like the Marvel Legends toys, where Scott and Storm fight over who should be leader of the X-Men. It's when like Storm has a mohawk and Storm doesn't use any of her abilities. She just fights them with her bare fists. And it's one of the most badass things ever, and that book tells you right there that Storm would break him, and it would not last long.
See, my Marvel ship is a little weird, because I've only seen the tiny panel of it, but after that I was truly interested, even though I know the problem is going to be Thor, but it's Thor and Storm.
Ugh, no, God, no.
That's how you lose power.
Yeah, that doesn't work. Yeah, that's how you like lose power to the entire planet. It doesn't work.
But you know, she would break him. Like,
Yeah,
she would pick up Mjolnir and break him
Yeah.
because
See,
she can't pick it up.
But the problem is that Thor is a multi-millennia old fuckboy.
That's true. That is true. My weird Marvel ship, I gotta say, and I hate that Endgame did this to me, and I hate Jason Aaron because of like his writing, because it kind of like made me interested in the idea, is Carol and Thor. Because I feel like
Get out.
Let me explain.
You keep your male power fantasy penis away from
no,
son of a bitch.
The reason why is because it was after Civil War II. It was after Aaron had finished his Jane run, and it was after Life of Captain Marvel, where Carol had went through some recovery. And it was that moment where, like, Thor has the gold arm and, like the gold hammer, and he's doing better about himself and trying to be more heroic before the whole Kate's thing, and Kate's giving him, like, the Galactus powers and shit. That was stupid. I really feel like if Thor is in a king role and established himself and not being a fuckboy, and Carol actually being herself, and that could be a really good power couple for the Marvel Universe, which is the two of the most powerful beings being able to measure up to each other. I think if they are not fucked up individuals at the time, like Odin's son Thor and like fucked up mindset Carol, I feel like that could work. And that's why I had to, like, explain my reasoning before y'all were just like, no. It's like, that could really... It's not even about power dynamic. It's just, though, like, there's that moment in Endgame where, like they have that dick measuring contest and he pulls up the fucking hammer, the wood hammer. And he goes like, I like this one. It feels like that power dynamic, if they're both in a good headspace, would be really fucking cool. And it's better than her and Rhodey just because they're military.
Now, for the audience that's unaware... Comic Thor is so fucking vastly different from
the movie Thor. Yes.
Oh,
comic Thor
so vastly different.
Comic Thor is like permanently brooding, shitty fuckboy self-hatred pit, whereas you get like
But in a good time,
bro, in the movies.
But in a good time, when he comes out of a really dark period, like what happened at the end of when Jane died, and he got the gold arm, and he comes into a good time, like at the beginning of Jason Aaron's run, or after the God Butcher arc, before he lost his powers because of an event. Like, Thor has genuine good eras where he's just a badass. Like that time where he became king and had to go get everyone back to go move to Wisconsin. And Tony showed up and was like, hey, you're under arrest. And Thor beat his ass because he's like, bitch, you thought you could show it to my house and put me under arrest for not signing some fucking American law? Like, that was one of those moments where it's like, when Thor's on his A game, he's one of the most badass motherfuckers in comics. That's why I feel like if he's on his A game and not being a butt fuck, that Carol and him would be the bomb ass couple of the Marvel Universe.
See, the problem is that 75% of Thor's content is him fucking sorrow drinking in Valhalla and starting shit with Volstagg. That's it.
Is he still fucking She-Hulk?
No, I think
because
Aaron ended that. That was gross.
Okay.
That was gross.
That was very gross.
It was gross. Because, like, Jennifer's going through a traumatic period of her life, and randomly She-Hulk and Thor are fucking, and it was gross.
I have an odd ship that I stand pretty hard.
Go for it.
She-Hulk and Juggernaut.
No.
Get.
No. And also, there's a new Juggernaut now. Kane Marco isn't even Juggernaut, so you failed that one right there.
Well, I'm saying Kane Marco.
Nah, son. That's the devil right there. You spoke. Now, for the sake of like lawyer cessed, I think Matt Murdock and Jennifer would be the fucking bomb. But like lawyer cessed, I feel like fucking Jennifer and Matt Murdock with all of Matt's fucking family issues would be hilarious. But that's just me. Now,
Mary, is it Jen in her Hulk form or just regular Jen?
Like Jen in a good time, like that scene at the beginning of Civil War II where she's presenting herself in her Hulk form, but she's in lawyer mode. Like that, like
yes.
I'm confident.
I will sign off on that.
Yeah, see, like I'm confident in myself and who I am, and I could beat and peg the shit out of Matt Murdock, Jennifer Walters. Like that would be fucking awesome.
I have one, and this is the could barely work in an alternate universe ship.
Okay.
Carol Danvers and Rogue.
Excuse you. I think it's Mary's turn to get the fuck out.
Because I mean, look, Rogue's a good guy again, and Carol can barely stand to look at her.
That would be so fucking funny. That'd be such a hate fuck.
I'm talking like a Bombshells level bonkers alternate universe, but main universe Carol and Rogue have to like react to it.
Bro, but like in main continuity, that'd be the ultimate hate fuck. But anyway, we're gonna end this on a Marvel ship that both myself and Mary want, and it is related to one of our topics this evening: America Chavez and Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop, thank you, Americate.
And
Americate.
Americate.
Yes, that's their ship name. Is Americate.
Americate should be a thing. We want it to be a thing, and that's all we can.
Almost a thing.
And that is legally all we can say about the matter. Folks, thank you.
He went public with it.
Oh, he went public? Okay, then never mind. Yeah, Americate almost happened. Jeremy Whitley almost wrote it, and it was fucking amazing. So yeah, that's a great place to end the episode.
One of my absolute favorite Marvel ships is Nico and Carolina from Runaways, and also Karma and just any woman at this point.
Honestly.
Well, Karma and Danny Moonstar, or God help me, Karma and Kitty Pryde. Just saying.
Danny Moonstar and Magic. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, Karma and Danny.
No. I'm saying from a New Mutants power dynamic, like hate fuck thing. I'm thinking like Danny and Magic would be fucking hilarious. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of an extra long episode of Panel to Panel as Mary oos in the background. You can check out this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, YouTube, all those great places. Apparently, we're getting a lot of traffic on Bullhorn. I think that's like a free podcast app that shares an RSS feed with Apple Podcasts. So if you're listening to us on Bullhorn, hi. If you're listening to us on Spotify, which is also getting the main part of our traffic, hi. Wherever you can listen to us, whether it be Audible, Amazon Music, Pandora, wherever, we are here for you. We would love to hear your ideas and pitches for future episodes because we Go ahead.
Give us really terrible ships to react to.
Yes, in response to this episode, and we will do a follow-up bonus episode on your ships if we get enough responses. If you have horrible ships that we should react to, send it to us on Twitter in the thread of this episode, and we will react to them on a bonus episode. We'll call it like 61.5 or something. In regards to that, you can also follow us on Twitter at PTP_podcast, which is where you should reply to this episode. And you can follow the website On Comics Ground on Twitter at On Comics Ground. And you can check out the website on -comics-ground on Twitter, on Twitter and Instagram, and the website itself.com, wherever you want to check out our reviews, previews, and solicitations. Travis, you talked the least this episode because you sat in horror of me and Mary. What is your closing statement of this episode of Panel to Panel?
I'm trying to think of another disturbing, hateful ship for the both of you. Shit, it's not working.
Okay. Well, while he tries to think of one, Mary, what is your closing statement for episode 61 of Panel to Panel?
We're going to do a crossover ship. Cyclops and Wonder Woman.
That checks out. That checks out 100%.
I will only stand it if it's Marvel Now Cyclops, where he thinks he's a freedom fighter.
Nope. We are talking 90s fuckboy Cyclops.
No, why can't it be Cyclops' right Cyclops? Damn it.
No. If we're going with like the absolute just grossness of that ship, we're gonna make it. No, okay. 90s fuckboy Cyclops and Frank Miller's Wonder Woman.
Okay, on that note, oh god, I'm gonna throw up. On that note, folks, my closing statement, as always, is support your local comic book shop. Shout out to my local comic book shop, Rubber City Comics, where we will be doing some bonus episodes soon when Mary and Victoria come to visit me, and we will be doing some awesome bonus content with them as well soon. So get ready for that. And we have some cross. What's up, Travis?
Mad Jim Jaspers and Cletus Cassidy.
Oh god.
You've hurt my soul, and I'm going to end this episode. Folks, thank you for tuning into this episode of Panel to Panel. We will catch you.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee.
We will catch you next week on Panel to Panel. Peace out.